What's up, guys? How we doing?
Good, how you doing?
Hey, Rich, how are you, buddy?
I am great. I am great. It stopped snowing finally in April. I feel like we've had the last 3 days. We've had every season in Cleveland, so that's fun.
More like a day and a half we had the last 3 seasons in Cleveland.
Yeah, no kidding, no kidding. I wanted to just have a conversation about real estate, life, market, COVID-19, all that kind of stuff is, and just kind of see where you guys are at with everything, see where your business is at with everything. It's a crazy, it's a crazy time. What looked like it could be 2 weeks has turned into 6 weeks. And at the end of April, we'll find out what everything looks like. But how are you guys doing in your business? I know you work with a lot of investors. Well, let's do this. For people that don't know who you are, who are you? What do you do? And how are you guys adapting?
Well, my name's Chris Kilbane, and I am the Kilbane of the Damiano Kilbane Group. We have a team at Russell Real Estate, and Tim, you can go right ahead. I don't want to introduce you. You can introduce yourself.
I'm Tim Damiano, and I am the Damiano in the Damiano Kilbane Group. Chris and I have a team of actually we've just grown to 9 right now, as well as our admin,
business development manager.
That's correct. We are at Russell Real Estate Services. I've been in the business now. I just hit my 13th year. Chris hit his 7th and more, and so we're full-time realtors, Monday through Sunday. This is what we do. In terms of what our business, our team offers, we do quite a bit of work with investors, local, out of state, some even out of the country. Chris is more. That's more Chris's niche on our team. Although I have some knowledge. Chris has the most. We have buyers agents. Chris and I list quite a bit of property. We have agents on our team that are into the rehabbing side. We have a gentleman who also likes to do. Actually, we have 2 agents that like to do rehabbing. Some of them they do for their own personal investment, and some that they will rehab and put back on the market. Chris, what else can you say about the team?
Well, I'll skip on from the team and go straight to kind of what we're seeing, I guess. The world's like a super middling ground right now. Like everybody, I can tell everybody's like still motivated, but they're half scared. And then in the past 7 to 10 days, most hard money loans that aren't on duplexes is just shut down. So, if there's anyone out there that wants a deal in old Brooklyn, trying to flip a house, I got one. But can't fund it right now. My guy who's liquid cash, he just bought 4 houses off market, getting ready to rehab them during this time. He thinks it's time to double down, which I agree. Short term, maybe not long term doubling down, but short term double down for sure. And if you need to sit on cash, like in a location over the long term, that's fine. But for rehabbing, I think the short term looks really good. And short term to me is like 1 to 3 years, not like 3 months from now or something. So sure. I think there'll be like a hyper market caused a little bit by this, and really a lot of people though are like pulling back. Like there's some off market houses that over the last year I would have had to pay that day to get it, or I needed to, move as fast as possible, I guess is what I'm getting at. And it's not really going like that as much. I mean, regular sales are, but I'm talking investment. There's a little bit of middling ground about where that goes. You're doing that you working out for the camera?
We're not actually video recording, are we, Rich?
We're everything recording, Tim.
We're everything recording. Recording is recording.
Chris, let me ask you. You said that you're seeing a little bit of slowdown on the investment side of things. Are you seeing hard money tighten up, or are you seeing the refi out tightening up, or both?
Both. Like rehabbing is gone right now in Cleveland. Like, you know, I don't want to like put them on blast so people don't reach out, but I mean they're really good companies. Like Fund That Flip, they're not lending in flips in Cleveland right now, which is shocking. I mean they've been doing that here since I want to say like 2009 or something. Probably wrong on that date, but a while is the point. And then Freedom Lending is been doing for a while, and they're only doing duplexes right now. And the natural effect is going to everyone. There's a couple people I could probably go to, but they charge you like 18%. And so if something happens, I'm not getting caught with an 18% loan. So yeah, they're both are. I have people that, I mean, this was going to be a year rolling into some bigger, better deals for us. So we have to reevaluate some things, but we have people who got slowed down on refining their 6-unit property and they were going to redistribute that cash. We got people slowed down on refining their duplexes in Gordon Square, and now they have to debate. This is where the inventory influx gets interesting. They have to debate selling it or keeping it at the previous loan term, and they were going to refi it out for better conditions while they rehabbed it. And it's like, what's going to happen to those places? Like, those are the real interesting ones because BRRR is so popular, right? Like, the people who can't cash those out, like, what's going to happen? Well, what's going to happen to them? You know, I mean, you could be stuck with a lot of liquid cash in those, and if you can't get it back, what are you going to do?
And I think that, go ahead, Tim.
I'm sorry, I was going to say this is, you know, these are challenging times right now, but we've seen this before for those who've been in the market. I got my real estate license in 2007. That was right at the apex of the roller coaster ride going down. And, you know, we made it through that. We're going to make it through this, you know, but Chris is right. Like, there's people are tightening up, squeezing up a little bit now, not funding as much, you know, because they don't know what's going to happen. How long is this COVID-19 going to be around? How long are people going to be out of work? What's going to be the effect of this in the next 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 4 years? You know, I mean, you know, not to take this conversation a different way, but to piggyback on what Chris is saying, we're going to see a ripple effect for quite some time right now. You know, 17 million people being out of work and probably more filing unemployment claims. And some that didn't file unemployment claims for whatever reason. We're seeing, you know, when businesses open back up again, we're going to see restrictions, especially on bars and restaurants, where that bar that used to pack in 100 people, keep the doors open, maybe have a band or whatever. Now that bar is only going to be able to pack in 50 or 60 people, have that band there. And that money that they're going to lose, that those business owners are going to lose, that the restaurant owners are going to lose, you know, it's going to affect. They're going to have to go, okay, well, I've got 32 on my staff, and now I've got 22. And those 10 people are going to have to be let go because they're not making the kind of money they're making anymore. So, but I don't want to get off track. We can talk about COVID-19 here, Rich, in a few. But getting back to what Chris is saying, yeah, we're noticing now in the investment world, the hard money lenders and the private lenders, those guys are going, we're gonna hold on. We're gonna sit on the fence here and see how this thing goes. So yeah, but Chris is right, and Chris is the guy that would tell you he dives into the investment world every single day of his life. I do a little bit. Chris does quite a bit. So yeah, that's a problem. If you're an investor and you don't have cash and you go to somebody for it, they're going, not right now, man. You know, so it's difficult times.
So let's stay on that because I think it's interesting. You're both saying that you're seeing the hard money lenders tightening up. You're seeing the investment refis tightening up. Are you seeing investors that are liquid, that are using their own money? Are you seeing those guys acquiring, or do you see those guys kind of paused right now? Because and I asked you this because of like that Warren Buffett mentality of, when everybody sells, you should kind of buy, versus when everybody's buying, you should kind of sit and hold. what are you seeing from your liquid investors that use their own money?
For me, I would say that who I think our most savvy investor is not to, that to offense anyone else. I won't use any names, I guess, but our most savvy investor is like is in double down mode. Like as soon as we move one or two others off the plate that we have contingent or pending right now, since he just bought 4 houses or locked them into contract, we're on to the next. And so as soon as we move some of the other 5 or 6 that we have going, Andy's building 2 houses right now, so we have a lot tied up. But for him, he's a little bipolar about it, I guess. But like for him, it's double down. I made the most amount of money in my life between 08 and 10. He told me. So to anyone who, if you know a good buy if you're making a good buy. It's a percentage game. It's literally algebra 2 that you learn in high school that can be used for this game, in my opinion, of real estate. And it's if you stay by the defined numbers and don't let your heart get in the way of your brain, you'll be able to execute on some really good stuff. So to me, what he's doing, I would buy right now. If I had liquid cash, I would buy. And I'm not saying it in a sales tone. Like even the house I was saying in Old Brooklyn, like if I had 67K cash right now, that place would be mine.
Well, and I think from an investment standpoint, investors make their money on their flips on the purchase, not on the sale. So if you don't buy it right, you're never going to make your money. You're never going to make the kind of money you want to make if you're not buying right. And I think that's what you're saying is the algebra 2 formula of making sure you have your purchase price, you have your holding cost, you have your investment price, and then which brings you to your break even margin to then say, all right, when this is done, here's what I'm going to sell it for. Yes, you actually get your money on the backside, but you're making it on the front.
Yeah, you make it on the front. And the biggest testament to that is a lot of the houses I'll say I quote unquote inherited from Tim. The guy I'm speaking of, Tim helped acquire a lot of properties and 13, 14. And that's more of my learning time of years, like brand new in the business. And a lot of the Shoreway houses, Tim helped them buy for $30,000-$40,000, and they've been rented for 4 or 5 years. And I'm getting to go in there with impeccable margins. So you had this for 4 years. You've had it rented for $800 a month. You bought it for $32,000, and now we're going to be able to put $50,000 in it and sell it for $175,000, $100,000 and $200,000. Like that's outrageous. Like that's buying right in future predictability, to a T. So I am fortunate to have some of that in my lap while we acquire new stuff, which is harder. But we have a slew of backdoor inventory that'll continually come out over the next 3 years, even if prices drop. We're almost coming out at $0 starting point if you want to look at the investment that way.
A great point. So, Rich, Chris and I, a great majority of our business is investments. So when the real estate market drops, or as they call it, a correction, Chris said, these guys are all in buying. So if this is, and I've seen some realtors out there right now talking about our market as it's in a recession already, without mentioning any names. That is incorrect. We are not in a recession at all. We are in a fearful time right now because people don't know. I mean, for the first time in our lives and probably our parents' lives, we're shut down. I mean, almost the entire country is shut down. There's only a few states that have not issued stay-at-home, orders. So we're shut down. I mean, I'm going to go to the store and oh, the store's closed. I'm going to go work out. Oh, I can't. The gym's closed. I'm going to go read a book. Oh, the library's closed. I mean, everything's closed. I mean, you can go to a drive-through at McDonald's, whip-de-doo, or I mean, there's really not a lot that's open. I mean, our offices are closed down. So, this is a scary time. So when I hear these people talk about a recession and this is not a recession. This is we're kind of in a holding pattern right now. But
nobody knows what's gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's why some people are just stagnant in the air. Like everybody's just like, you don't know. There's no data. There's no, hey, what happened to the real estate market during the Spanish flu? Well, it was already on its way to the Great Depression. So was it really the Spanish flu that caused the Great Depression? No,
right.
There's a whole different world of lead up there, but.
Well, there are tons of articles that you can read online. I think Yahoo Finance, Yahoo Finance, whatever it is, just had one the other day that said when this market, when this whole thing is lifted, the market's going to come back. And I'm of the mindset that that's absolutely the case. And I know, Chris, you and I were talking about this a little earlier today. We have a few really great things going for us that are going to help propel that forward once we're out of this. First and foremost, interest rates are crazy low, right? So if you're looking to buy, it's never been cheaper. And I really mean that because even 10 years ago, interest rates can still be lower than they were 10 years ago, right? When Tim and I were selling short sales, interest rates are lower today than they were then. It's also an election year. So because it's an election year, we're not going to see rates jump that crazily high. I don't believe we're going to see the drastic changes that people are talking about because of what it's going to do come November for the election. I think that once we get out of this, I think it's going to go, we're going to get that spring market that we haven't yet gotten to. And I think we're going to get that, and I think things are going to thrive.
Well, if I can, Chris,
Go ahead.
I went to Florida on March 12th for personal family reasons. And between March 12th and today, April 9th, say the 9th or 10th? 10th.
Is it 10th?
In almost 4 weeks now, Chris and I and our team have probably put, what would you say, Chris, 9 or 10 houses under contract? You did about 4 or 5 when I was in Florida, and I was only in Florida, Rich, for a week. Chris was killing it. And I'd say since I've come.
If you even count some of the ones through other sources that I don't want to say don't go through a brokerage because I don't get paid on some of the purchase. If he finds the property and I just run numbers on it for him, we get the resale of it. But if you include those, you include those, I mean, just me, myself, I've probably sold 11 houses since Corona started. So probably four that I didn't have to do anything but go to the vacant house and give the thumbs up to it and run numbers. But then regular buyers and listings, listings, I don't have to go to the house, so I get to remotely do it. And, we've between me and everybody, I mean, I'd say probably 16 since
so in other words, Rich, we're not slowing down. I mean, we haven't slowed down. Now that what Chris is referring to is some off-market properties that aren't per se listed, and this is how a lot of investors will find their properties, through off-market wholesale deals, if you will. Some people, they get afraid of that word wholesale. Oh, it's not like that.
These are like wholesale bank deals, but same thing. So
yeah, same thing. So they're not in the MLS. Somebody knows somebody who knows somebody that their grandma passed away and they've got this house over here in Brooklyn or Parma or whatever. It's deals like that, or Old Brooklyn. That's the deal that Chris is referring to earlier. So our business has not slowed down, and I want anybody who hears this and who sees this to understand that right now banks are still loaning money. Chris was talking about the investment, the hard money lenders, the private lenders. Your conventional bank, I mean, I'm just going to Huntington Bank or Key Bank or Chase Bank. They're still mortgage companies. Our mortgage company, Your Home Financial, still doing deals, still loaning money, still we're up and running. Yeah, we're essential. Thank you, Chris. But what I'm saying is, for us personally, Rich, where I'm getting affected, and maybe Chris is too, is I'm getting affected to where cross-country mortgage. Yes, I can't.
I don't have a cross-country hat. I do a ton of business with them, and I don't have a hat.
How could I forget cross-country mortgage? Forgive me. That's correct.
If Andrew Matkovic is watching this, I want a hat.
Do you want me to talk to my guy for you? I could get you a hat.
Rich, time out. Chris, I have a hat. Rich, you can have my hat. I've never worn it, so you can have it. I was just throwing names out. Huntington Bank. God, Chris and I haven't done a deal with Huntington Bank or Chase Bank in forever.
I think what's important, though, is that traditional lending institutions, your brokerage houses, your mortgage companies, they're still writing loans. They're still pre-approving. They're still closing. But the retail side of this industry is still business as usual.
And where we're seeing somewhat of the ripple effect is, which we knew was coming, we're seeing people that are getting ready to list their property, and they're like, I'm not going to list. I want to wait and see how this goes. I don't want strangers coming into my home. Heaven forbid they have the COVID-19, and vice versa. The buyers are like, we're gonna sit on the sidelines for a little bit. I don't want to be going through homes because I don't know who lives there and who's been in there, and the whole fear factor. I get it. I understand it. I don't live my life that way. I mean, I listen to stay-at-home orders. I go and only do my grocery shopping or whatever, get food. But I wouldn't be afraid personally myself to put my home on the market or to walk through a home. That's just who I am. I mean, just use smart common sense. You touch things, wash your hands, sanitize, don't touch your face. When I go and show homes, which isn't often, I keep my distance. My buyers, they keep the distance. That's just common sense. And these are things that we're going to continue to use after this COVID-19 is gone and we talk about it like a bad memory or a nightmare. That's how we're going to be living our lives. And we're going to see these restrictions too in grocery stores. Can't stand this close. Those shields are probably going to stay up when you go to the, I mean, just be prepared for anybody who's listening to this. Remember, I said this on April the 10th. This is the new norm now for a long time. That your favorite corner bar that you went to, they'd pack them in. Now they're going to be spreading the bar stools out. You're going to walk in and go, wow, why is it so empty in here? No, this is a busy night because they're going to remove tables. Trust me. The restrictions, Governor DeWine is going to restrict the hell out of us. Trust me. But anyways, to stay on the track, what we were talking about. So this is still a good market. Interest rates, like you mentioned, are low. This is still a seller's market. If you're on the fence and you're thinking about listing your home, do it, because it's still like taking a round peg and putting in a square hole. There's so many buyers and so many few listings out there. So now more than ever, if you're a homeowner that was thinking of listing, say maybe a month or two before this all happened, do it now, because the buyers are still there. They still want to buy. And if people that are on the fence thinking, I'm going to wait until this is over before I list my home, that's just more business for you then. That's more opportunity for you as a homeowner. I mean, I hate to take advantage of a bad situation. It's horrible that people are dying from this. I get it. It's a shame. I mean, there's tens of thousands of people. But in our term as a realtor, if I'm going to talk to somebody and they're scared, I'm going to talk them off the fence. I'm going to say, come on back over here. If you're thinking about listing your home, don't wait on the sidelines now. Do it now. List your home now.
You in your own statement, you prove a point that can't stop itself, and that's people die, and then a house is in a trust, and it immediately goes to someone else's name if it's executed appropriately. So the point would be that taxes and money payment, anything, there's deference or whatever, but if they do any of that, the money that they were going to be inheriting, or say that they helped do something with the property and that's their money invested in it, so then their dollar is just going backwards every day. They have to wait. Every moment they're waiting, this costing them money.
So I'm hearing two things. One of which is you're having conversations with your sellers about why now is a great time to put your home. It's still a great time to put your home on the market. I think that does that not play right into what we say in December, January, and February in the winter months of you have less competition, you're going to be able, you might be able to command a higher price, all of these
Absolutely.
things. So in effect, like if I'm looking at this mentally, right, as a realtor, is my mindset that it's not actually April 10th, it might be January 10th, and I need to think like it's still the winter market?
I'll touch on that, Chris, and you. Absolutely. I was over here going, you're dead on. Yes, exactly. I mean, the people that feel like, oh, the holidays are, listen, if you host holiday parties and you always have family and people coming, I can see you don't want to put your home on the market between, end of November to the beginning of January. Okay, that's fine. But if you're just your typical homeowner and, maybe you're not hosting, you're just, going, put that home on the market because buyers are out there right now. You think about this last winter, how mild this winter was. Chris and I both remember the polar vortex, January 30th of 19. You know why we both remember? Because we both got sick with the flu on the same day. We were both like, Russell had brought in Tony Giordano over to Christ Church, and Chris and I showed up, and we were all smiles, and by the end of the time, we're like, I'm like, what's wrong with us? We both got the flu at the same time. So Chris and I were out the rest of the week, and it was -3 for a high. It was 30 below wind chill. We had a terrible winter, and people were like, I'm not leaving my house to go out and look at homes in this. This winter, lot milder. I think it never got below zero. We usually get 47, 48 inches of snow. I think we only got about 28, 30 inches of snow this year. Very low amounts. People were out and about. So if I'm a buyer, yes, Rich, I'm looking at homes during the holidays over that. And if I'm a seller, I'm listing my home because, I always tell people, list your property. We're only charging you a commission when we sell your home. So what the hell's put it out there? Because it's the people that are like, I'm going to take my home off the market for 6 weeks during the holidays. While they're doing that, their neighbor's house is selling to that buyer that would have walked through theirs.
Well, from a listing perspective, my business has always been listing based. So I've always preferred working with sellers over working with buyers. So from a listing agent perspective, there's less competition right now. If you look at, use the city of Parma only because Chris and I were talking about it. There are 80 single family homes for sale in that entire city. That city has like 3 or 4 zip codes. Right? The city of Broadview Heights has 54 homes for sale. If you want to sell, this is the time.
Right.
Yeah. To add perspective to what you're saying, Rich, when I got my license till about at least 2016, there was anywhere from 400 to 650 listings in Parma itself.
Yeah.
Think of that number. We're below 80. It was 76 this morning. Just using it as a good baseline because there's such a housing stock there that the fact that we're sub 100 now in there is just blowing my mind.
Well, so then you look at it from a buyer's perspective, right? So if you're a buyer's agent, you're looking at it from this perspective. If you're working with a buyer that's not ready to pull the trigger like today, there's no point in going and looking at property.
Correct.
Because if they're not pre-approved, if they're not ready to go, and if their intention is to not buy a house, let's say you take them into 5 houses, 60% of those houses aren't going to be on the market tonight, and the rest of them are going to be gone in 3 days. So this is like a great time to make sure that our buyer presentation, whether it's face-to-face or virtual, is locked up, is bought in, and we're having those real conversations with our buyers right now. Look, we're going to go out, and there's only 80 houses in the entire city for sale. There's 5 in your price point. If you're not ready to buy one of these, we don't need to go out today.
Right. Well, time is money. I don't want to sound like this, but we don't get paid a salary. We're not hourly, our broker's not paying us $25 an hour. So, time is money. Chris and I aren't in the business to just, go around and show houses for fun. If the people aren't ready to pull the trigger, of course, and honestly, it's those ones that go home and sleep on it. The next day, you know, they're not getting the property because it's the couple that's coming behind them that's going back to the office and writing the offer or doing dot loop or whatever. And while they're at home sleeping, going, I wonder if that house will wait. They wake up the next morning, they call their realtor and go, all right, we're ready. Oh, it's under contract, you know, or there's multiple offers or whatever. So that's true, Rich. I mean, we're not in the business right now to, you know, to go and, you know, hey, it's a nice day. Let's go out and look at houses for fun. I mean, I get what you're saying. So,
well, but you take that one step further. Like, this is the time to establish like the set of criteria and the set of ground rules in which you operate your buyer-based business off of. So if 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, you would have a buyer consultation, meet with the buyer, go show them 20 houses, and then touch base with them once in a while until they're ready to go. You need to completely pivot your business to go, all right, if you're not ready to go, there's a stay-at-home order. You know, you can get this virus by touching, blinking, looking, thinking, licking, waking up, whatever. It's not worth my health to go show you property if you're not ready to buy today, right? So if I take that same mentality and that same thought process when this thing comes out, now I've actually tightened up my buyer presentation and I've set a baseline and guidelines of how I'm going to operate my business.
Sure. Well, for starters, Rich, I hope none of your clients are licking when you're going out with them.
You know what? Sometimes, man, sometimes it looks like candy, and you just gotta get a good lick.
Pretty sure like licking doorknobs was a trend for a little bit, so that makes sense.
Well, I have to be honest. Most of my buyers I can let them out of my sight, not worry about them licking, you know, refrigerators or doorknobs or whatever. So, but that's very true, Rich. You know, it's like I think what I want to talk to the three of you guys, well, myself too, the three of us. What I want to talk about is, let's talk about the future. What do we see now? Here we are in April. We know that we're on a stay-at-home order for April. And this sucks, guys, because think about it. Our market, March, April, May, our spring market going into the summer, we're rocking and rolling. Chris, we do. And then, you know, for a lot of people, we've been very blessed, Rich, because Chris and I, our business has still continued to operate, and we're doing quite well, knock on wood. But let's talk about, what does the future look like, guys? Well, Rich, you're a very smart guy. You tell us what you think the future looks like for real estate. I don't mean 2021 or 22. I mean, tell us what the future looks like in May, June, July, August, you know, as we're getting through this thing. What do you think is going to happen? I know we touched on gas, oil prices, and before, you know, previously, and, you know, it's great paying $1.25 for gas or whatever, but tell us in terms of real estate, Rich, what do you think is going to happen in the next 30, 60, 90 days?
I think the spring market that we're so accustomed to of March, April, May, right? I think that's I think we're still going to get it, but I think we get it in the form of 30 days after this thing is over. So it might be June, July, August, right? I think we're still going to get it. I think third and fourth quarter are going to be our busier times of the year. First and second quarter are going to be, you know, first quarter is what first quarter was, right? Again,
right.
We're now in Q2. If this thing, if they let us out, I hate saying that, but if they let us out in May, I think that we can have a great May, June, July. If this trickles into June, then I think it's going to be like July, August, September. The market's not going to show up. It's going to show up. It's going to show up in a different way. And do I think we're going to have that massive influx of the spring market like we traditionally do? I don't know. You know, it's so hard to see and so hard to predict. And you know, you can read the Yahoo Finance article that says when this is over that, you know, the expectation is it's business as usual.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is still a great time to refinance. So are people refinancing right now and deciding to take on home renovation projects? I am. Rather than moving, we're refinancing, we're finishing our basement, we're doing all sorts of stuff because we now have the time. When this picks up, how quickly are people going to get back to work, right? So you look at like your first time home buyers and your restaurateurs that they rely on that piece of their business that's now no longer there. They can't afford to purchase right now. Their loans are getting denied. So I think how fast we recover is going to be the lead indicator into how quickly our real estate market shows back up. But guys, I don't think our market's going away.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
100%.
We have to be smarter. 100% as an industry, we have to be smarter, right? So what this is allowing us to do, in my opinion, is to slow down. I think it's allowing us to slow down. It's allowing us to be a little bit more diligent in our business, because we're not going 300 miles an hour like we usually are in April.
It's true.
We're going fast. We're moving fast. Yet we're not going at the light speed that we traditionally go. So it's allowing us to kind of slow down a little bit and to recharge and to look at our business differently. But make no mistake, this is not a bad market. This is not a bad market right now. It's a different market.
Right. That's what I said. Chris and I have had a great last 30 days.
Yeah.
I mean, our March into April has been wonderful. I mean, I don't have our, year-to-year date numbers from 19, 18, 17, but it's probably as good as any other. So I think, again, like I said earlier, I've heard some people, make the comments that we're in a recession, and I'm like, whoa. I don't know what world you're in, but this is not, we're not in a recession. This is not a recession. 2008, 9, 10, that was a recession. I mean, that's where we, some people saw their values of their homes drop 70, 80%, of course, in the harder hit areas.
Mm-hmm.
And
but gradually over time is the main thing to keep in mind. Like, it slowly but surely happened. Then a cliff dive happened. But there's writing on the wall before it. And so I know you understand that, but I'm rephrasing it so more of anybody else can understand that we're not just going to be walking towards the Grand Canyon and following it. There's going to be a sign here and a sign there and a fence there, and it all happens before you hit the cliff. But I just wanted to clarify, because it's like that's what everyone thinks, is there's just like boogeyman under the bed and he's gonna come out and murder you in your sleep. And realistically, like, it's a slow, progressive movement. It is.
Like Chris said, you know it's coming. It's like you're about to go over the falls, Niagara Falls. You're like, oh boy, here it goes. You know it's coming, is what Chris says. You don't just wake up and down the falls. You go.
Turn around. Drop right here.
Suddenly.
Right, exactly. And guys,
and if you're not looking at trends, if you're not studying history, if you're not looking at market trends, if you're not following this stuff, it's going to come up and it's going to slap you in the face.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go, holy crap, when did that happen? But like, no shit, guys, like this isn't the end of the world.
Right.
And like people like us that are going to wake up every day, put our pants on, put our shoes on, and find a way to make this work. We're coming out of this on the other end, and we're good.
Yeah. Well, you got to adapt, Rich. Adapt.
Shut down that scared the shit out of me.
Well,
People that
you
have
got it.
shut down, that aren't doing anything. I'm like, it's the end of the world for you. You're not doing anything.
Right. Well, fear drives a lot of things. Think about it. Fear does. Fear is a bad thing. We've all been fearful of things in our life, always. And right now, the fear of the unknown is what people are really being affected with right now. They're like, what's going to happen? This isn't the end of the world. This isn't like a world war where are we going to get hit with an atomic bomb? What's going to go on here? It's not that. We're going to get through this. We're going to persevere. We got through tragedies. We got through 9/11 in terms of the housing market and the financial crisis crash. We got through that. We are going to get through this. Here's one thing, if anybody listens to this and it's in this business, I want you to know, as realtors, we owe it to our clients and we owe it to ourselves and we owe it to our partners, like I owe it to Chris. We got to relax. We got to be calm, cool, collected. Okay. We got to be problem solvers and critical thinkers when times get rough, period. We can't be the first one to and scream and run. Just take a deep breath. We're going to be okay. We're Americans first and foremost. Best country in the world. Probably just because I'm American and I live here, but we can get through this. We can get through this. We're going to get through this. I mean, we're 340 million Americans strong, I believe is the last census, somewhere around there. So what we, as realtors, whether you're in the Cleveland, Ohio market, the Tampa, Florida market, the San Antonio, Texas market, the Phoenix, we all are being affected. Everybody's being affected by this from coast to coast, north, south, east, west. We're all being affected. So we owe it to ourselves right now. Pull our pants up here and you know, buckle down and we owe it to ourselves to be leaders, answer questions, don't get scared. You know, I mean, I know right now it's you know, everybody's fearful of the virus and everything, but in terms of our business, we got to keep it together. We're the leaders of our business. You know, I don't care if you sold one house, 100 houses, 1,000 houses. You owe it to yourself, to your broker, to your clients. In this case, Chris and I are partners with a great team. You owe it to your partners, people on your team. You got to keep it together. So critical thinking, problem solvers. That's what we are right now. This is a speed bump, guys. We're not running into a brick wall where we're dead stop. This is as you're cruising along and you have a sudden you're coming along and then you go into that one and you see the speed bumps. You got to slow down because it's all we have to do right now. We got to slow down, react, think, and move forward. And we'll get through this. This is my only fear is the long-term effects for our friends that own bars and own restaurants and own small little boutiques and stuff like that. They're going to be affected as new changes come out. So like I said, Rich, that corner bar that you and your wife like to go to, that packs them in with 60, 70 people, well, when they're allowed to be opened up again, you're going to be like, wow, why is it so dead in here? No, this is a normal night because of the new restrictions. Those are the things that make me nervous for people, is because that bar owner that needed to pack that 60, 70 people in there now can only put 30 in there, 35. So he's going to have to look at his balance sheet and go, all right, I'm going to have to make some cutoffs here, and that's probably going to include some employees and stuff. That's the thing that I'm worried about. Our business is still going to continue to go and move. I'm just worried about our small business owners, restaurant owners, and not the big ones, not the Applebee's and the TGI Fridays. They'll adapt. I'm just talking about that cool family restaurant you like to go to in Broadview Heights, Parma, or Strongsville. It's going to close their doors unless, you know, those are the things that we're going to see an effect. So sorry I'm long-winded, but there you go. Here it is. I'll shut up now.
Oh, good, my man.
Rich, your thoughts on what I just babbled on for the last 5 minutes?
It's I don't want you to be right. I'll tell you that. I do not want you to be right. You know what? There are so many people that live paycheck to paycheck, that live week to week, month to month.
Yep.
And a lot of those folks, unfortunately, are in that service industry. They're in, you know what? And let's be honest, they're in the real estate industry too, right? How many people are living deal to deal? They're like, holy shit, this thing didn't close on time. Like, I need this money like yesterday, right? Like, so I look at those folks and yeah, I think this is going to be a slap in the face to a lot of people, and they're going to come out of this. And if they survive it, I see this being that wake up call that a lot of people need, man. I see that being a thing that a lot of us go through as, we're in the process of selling our restaurant. We're doing a lot of different things right now, trying to just, be more liquid, trying to just kind of relinquish some things. And it's not because we don't love it. It's because we need to, we're looking and reevaluating, and we're always looking at different opportunity to see where we can reduce expenses and different things.
Sure.
But you look at a lot of your business owners to get, to answer your question, You know, if you're not running, if you're running on loans, if you're operating in debt, this is gonna slap you, man. You know, those companies that are smart, that have saved money, that have done things the right way, I think they're gonna make it out. But they're gonna, you know, we're not. I don't think we're gonna have that posh lifestyle that a lot of folks have been accustomed to these last couple of years in those particular industries.
Agreed. And Rich, for your business, you know, saying what I was saying, echoing, you know, I wasn't thinking so much your business, but I mean, it very well could be affected by this as well.
Yeah,
you know, so it's you know, it's just all how we react to things, you know. I don't know what the restrictions are going to look like. I have no clue. I don't know what Governor DeWine's going to put out there, but I can tell you, if he was the first governor to immediately shut everything down before any other state, there's 50 states and he was the first one to do it, he's more than likely going to be pretty strict on his restrictions, I would think. You know, I would think.
Listen, if you're a business or a business owner or whatever, and you haven't gotten real right now, and if you haven't looked at your P&L and tried to figure out what you can eliminate,
correct.
This is like today. Like, you need to look at your business and go, what don't I need?
Bingo. Because that's
as a business owner, you have people that count on you to pay their mortgage, to pay their car payment, to feed their kids. This is not about how can I continue to make money. As a business owner, guys, like, this is like my entire mindset about this has like, how do I take care of the people that rely on me to show up every day so that they can pay their bills?
Correct. Well, that's a scary thing too. I mean, owning a business, Rich, no matter what it is, that's a scary thing too. Thinking about it, it's kind of like, you're thinking about, as a business owner, your own family.
Right.
And think about all the people that work for you and how they're affected too.
Absolutely.
So, good point.
It's not just about your family anymore. Right?
Yeah.
It's not just about my wife and I. It's about my wife and I, and then the 20 other people that rely on us.
Correct. Exactly. So when you make those decisions, you're impacting their lives too. That's the point that this whole thing that makes me a little nervous. That's what makes me just a bit nervous, you know, because then, you know, those people that are out of work, either they're not going to be selling home. I mean, they could turn into, you know, it could turn into maybe a rental market, you know, opportunity if these people are, you know, not able to, you know, pay their mortgage. I mean, Rich, it could come into some sort of a hardship, like you and I used to do a lot of short sales. Maybe it could come into another short sale opportunity. I mean, depending if they're upside down on their mortgage. I don't see values dropping drastically. So maybe they won't be upside down on their mortgage. You know, maybe they'll be, you know, hey, they bought 10 years ago or 8 years ago and they've got equity in their home. Okay, hey, we'll come in with our Superman capes on and we're here to save the day. Talk to them about, you know, selling their home and maybe finding them something more affordable, or maybe they're going to rent. I don't know. Chris, you've been pretty quiet over there. You still awake? You still with us?
I'm still awake and I'm still with us. And now I don't think there's going to be a plummet like that. I mean, we just have different scenarios, but, you know, it's something that I'm working, but I'm also waiting in the background to see what happens. Because I mean, I've heard a couple people say this, and I mean, they're going to write books about this period of time. There is going to be not only history books, but economic books, housing books, like ways to make money off of a coronavirus or a pandemic. Like, there's going to be statistics of what spiked, what shortened, what went, and we have like 100 years of data on so many different things, but to where we could fully stat track countries or intercontinental, like, that stuff couldn't be statistically tracked. And we're at a point in time where this virus / the reaction that needed or needs or just is being taken in place, we're going to see the effect, and those procedures are probably going to stay in line unless they think something failed about it. So we're going to be able to, like, when this is coming, like, because we've been getting viruses for every 2 to 4 years since I can remember, H1N1, et cetera, like Ebola.
SARS, yeah.
Yeah, so, but my point is like something that gets great, like there's going to be many influxes that probably happen off of, pandemics that aren't as deadly or aren't as scary of a death rate, but there's fear instilled at this point, and there's going to be data to be able to be tracked off it. So it's super interesting when you think about like living through there's 4 generations pretty much alive right now in a variable way, and like this could be the only time it happens in every single ones, or it could happen 10, 20 times. I hope not, but that the point being is that there's over 100, and I don't know what the oldest person in the world is, but there's like 115 years of human beings probably alive right now, and no one has any opinion on how this is gonna, like, people have an opinion, but nobody has facts. Nobody has hardcore empirical data or whatever it is. Like, it just doesn't exist. So we're living through history, but like history, like first time ever stuff. Like it's going to be interesting to see the fallout effect, and if we're lucky to live long lives, like we're going to get to see what data people pulled off of this situation that we're living inside our homes during.
Absolutely.
True.
Final thoughts. What do you take from all this? Where's your head at with all this? Tim, you've been chatty Cathy today. Why don't you go first? Final thoughts.
Well, anybody that knows me knows I'm a chatty Cathy, so not afraid to speak my mind. Final thoughts are, well, it's a time like this that makes you appreciate certain things in your life, makes you thankful for certain things in your life. I'm a more social guy. I'm usually out in the scene, as Chris knows, and the fact that for the last 3 weeks, pretty much, we've had to be confined to our homes and do as little. I mean, I guess it makes me, like you said, Rich, in the beginning, you reset, you recharge, it makes you kind of reflect a little bit on things, and makes you more thankful for things in your life. In terms of real estate, I love real estate. I love what I do. It's the greatest business in the world. I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. I mean, it's funny. People have asked me, well, Tim, what's your hobbies? And I'm like, real estate. I love real estate. I love searching, doing different things. But final thoughts are, so I'm not long-winded, is just, everybody stay safe out there, and everybody just, keep pushing forward. We got to be the ones that keep calm, and like I said, and don't lose it, and just, continue to focus on your families, focus on your friends. But as a real estate, we owe it to our brokerages, our partners, and whatnot. We got to stay calm, and we got to be critical thinkers and get through this. Don't be spewing out, oh, it's a recession and this is going to be. I mean, this is our business. We can't be walking around telling everybody, yep, the recession's here, down we go. No, it's not here. It's not. Jesus, I just.
There's nothing to prove it's here.
Yeah.
There's nothing that says it's here.
Listen, guys, Chris and I said, we are pretty good at our jobs. We're not the best, but we're far from the worst. And we've had an amazing last 4 weeks. I mean, so I guess I don't want any realtors out there getting negative and saying things like, this is a recession. I mean, we're the business professionals. People that don't know our business are going to listen to what we have to say. So don't be walking and talking the negative talk here. Keep your head up, keep smiling, saying, hey, interest rates are low, still a seller's market. If you're thinking about listing your home, do it now, because we really don't know what the future is going to hold. Before all this whole pandemic thing, remember they were talking about there's going to be a correction, the market's going to drop. I don't know how they figured, they knew, but they said it's going to. And all we've been experiencing is up especially over the last 3 years. So that's my final thoughts. If you're a realtor out there, don't be spewing negativity right now. Right now, we got to smile and walk and talk and, spread the word, the good word. Chris, you're up.
Wash your hands. Support local business. Don't freak out. And I think divorce rates go up, and there's a lot of babies born at the beginning of 21. So those are my final thoughts on the effects of everything here. I think we see a short-term hyper market, which can last anywhere from 1 to 3 years historically, from modifications to the real estate market from the economy. So, if you're looking, take the percentage for the long term, and if you're going to be there more than 5 years, just take a below 4% rate, and you'll make your money there. And if you're going to be there for the entire life of it, which I never suggest for anyone to plan on that, this is where you make all your money on a low percentage. Come and get it with a 6% or a 9% versus the 3%, and overpaying, paying $30,000 less doesn't matter. You're gonna eat that money in that 3 to 6% above the 3.5%, where over 10, 20, 30 years you're gonna save yourself, $100,000. So take the low percent. Take it.
Can I just say, Chris, you said, I love how Chris did one from one end of the spectrum. He's like, divorce rates will be up and babies will be born.
We're all trapped together.
He's not wrong, man. He's not wrong.
No, he's so
people is it a necessity to go to the store? Is it essential to go to the store for condoms or birth control? We're not sure. So these people might be staying in, just rolling the dice.
That's funny. Just be smart. Chris did say wash your hands. Obviously, follow the CDC, the guidelines, wash your hands, keep your distance during this time period. That's a very smart thing. Obviously,
Final words of wisdom, Rich? I want to hear Rich's.
I think my biggest thing today, I think it was 2 words, and I want to find the exact 2 words I used this morning. Now is the time. My thing right now is, now's the time. Whether it's now's the time to button up something in my business that I never had time for, tightening up my database, slowing down, reading a book, picking a hobby, doing something. Now is the time to focus, to recharge, to rejuvenate, to show people that you're just a salesperson, that you're not just a realtor, that you're a genuine human being that actually gives a shit. Now's a great time to call your people and check up on them. Now I think now is the time for every single person to do something that they wouldn't have otherwise done because they've quote unquote been too busy or didn't have the time. I think, so my 3, now is the time. And for whatever it is in your life, in your business, in your relationships, I don't see a better time than right now to kind of get real, to get right, to get it, to just start to take care of yourself.
What you're saying, I just want to add to it, is I heard someone say it and it resonated with me really. Like, it hits you when you hear this line. And what you're saying is, if you ever said, like, I want to do this, but this, and this is in your way, this pandemic is the truest moment of your life to understand that it's fucking you. And it's not the time, it's not the anything, it's your effort, it's your commitment, it's your ability to make time for something. So when the guy said it, I was like, shit, that's calling people out to the core, but it's true. If you have nothing to do and you can't go to work and you can't go to a bar and you can't do this and you can't hang out with friends, and you're like, I've always wanted to work out, but I don't have the time, or I don't have right now. Go outside, walk around your neighborhood, do push-ups in your it's that you don't want to do it. That's the point. And it's okay. It doesn't make you a bad person, but when you spin out the reasons for other stuff, like now's the time. You should, if you're not working or you're limited at work, which 90, like my brother still has to work, like he can't be someone that's pointed at this. He's a lineman for First Energy. But like the thing goes is just that most people are missing 90% of what they do during a day right now.
I think what Chris is trying to say, Rich, is you're getting a little chubby lately. You better start working out. I think that's what he was trying to say. And that's, just say it, Chris. I mean, I know we're on a live, recorded broadcast. I think Rich looks good. He's a bigger guy. He's taller. He looks good. But if you're going to call the guy chubby, just call it to his face, all right?
Listen, man. So in my office here, let me show you this. In my office, I don't know. Oh wait, I gotta take this stupid ass background off, and then we'll wrap this up because I want to show you what I've been staring at.
There you go, Chris. You upset him now. Good job.
As you call me chubby, I have.
Yes.
This is
awesome. I love it.
My fucking office, guys.
Is that a Peloton?
Yeah, it's the tread and the bike, and then in my garage.
So you got the NordicTrack. So you have a NordicTrack and the Peloton?
I have the Peloton bike, the Peloton treadmill, and a full fucking gym in my garage that I haven't been in.
I know. I saw your pictures of it.
Did they endorse you for something? Like,
yeah,
are
you get a deal from Peloton?
Did you just get paid?
I want a Peloton.
Did you get paid for saying Peloton every time on here?
Listen, so my wife loves the Peloton bike, and she signed up to run this Cleveland half marathon, and it was so freaking cold outside that she's like, well, I'm not going to go run outside. I'm going to slip and fall and hurt myself on the ice because Broadview Heights sucks at plowing snow.
Yep.
So she goes to me one day, she goes, we're going to get the Peloton. And I'm like, we have one. We have it. It's a bike. And she's like, no. She's like, no, the treadmill. So now I have the bike. I am the most bougie bitch in the entire world. I got the treadmill. I have a full functioning gym. I have a rack. I have weights. I have a rower. I have an assault bike.
I remember you posting that and showing pictures of what you're putting in there. That's great. There you go.
Here's what I need to do. I need to wear one of those masks, right? And I need to wear it when I'm in the house. So I stop eating.
I can't stop eating either.
I had 3 chocolate chip cookies for breakfast.
Chris, I just want to tell you, after you left last night, there you go. After you left last night, Chris, I just want you to know, myself and an unnamed individual where we were at last night, we ordered Marco's Pizza after you left.
I couldn't have eaten it anyways. I'm suddenly can't eat dairy, which is like a misery to my life right now.
If I may say this, Chris, Rich, and I know you're wrapping this thing up, but Chris and I are always thinking how we can grow our business, what we can do to bring in more business for ourselves, for our team, for Russell Real Estate Services. And we always have great support from guys like you, from Mark Lang, who is a heaven sent, from Jeff Russell, Jim Hiles, our managing broker. I mean, I will say this much, just a side piece. The culture at our company and our office and on our team is just wonderful. So we can talk about that another time we're on a phone call. But
not the culture, it's just the humans. It's great humans.
Yeah, well, they're just wonderful people. We're all in sync with each other. We're all on the same page. Everybody's like willing to lend a hand. And well, when we were going to the office, if somebody needed something, we were there for each other. I mean, we're not in competition with each other. We're like brothers and sisters, all working for the same cause. But it's funny, Rich. Last night, Chris and I had met with a certain somebody. We're trying to get a few things started.
I explained it to him earlier.
Oh, did you? Yeah. So Rich, so you know what we're trying to do, and it's pretty exciting. We got some things coming up. So, but yeah, Chris, good final thoughts. We of course weren't talking about you, Rich. We don't think you're, we don't think we love you. That beard is getting a little out of control. I mean, I shaved the other day. Kilbane is now shaved. Your hair, that beard. Look at that thing. Man, oh, man.
Harvard's Barbershop to open back up again. But guys, thank you so much.
Who designated barbers is non-essential? Like, look at this. Look at this. You want me walking to the grocery store and people to not think Corona's going around? Like, they're going to be like, look at this guy. Like, come on.
Well, here's my thought process on that. And it just to touch on it for 30 seconds. Barbers or hair salon, they can wear a mask. And they can wear gloves. I don't see why that they couldn't be still cut our hair. I don't see why they still couldn't do that. If the mask that they're wearing is
it's the utensils touch people. It's the fear of putting it on someone else. Like, even though they clean the shit out of everything, like, it's the fear that these scissors touched Tim and Tim has it, and then they touched Rich and now Rich has it, and now I'm liable and I'm only getting paid like 30 some bucks for a haircut or whatever it is. That's not gonna cover a legal bill. Is it worth?
Yeah, I know. Well, then maybe you sign a waiver going in there. I mean, my barber, Robert Calabretta, is fantastic in Parma. Giving a shout out to Robert. Not that he would ever hear this, but Robert's been cutting our hair, our family hair, for over 40 years. Robert wouldn't be watching this broadcast. I mean, maybe he will, but he's been cutting our family hair for over 40 years. He's been cutting my dad's hair, then my brother John's hair, and then my hair. And like, I'm lost without Robert cutting my hair. It's crazy. That's why I'm wearing a hat pretty much now almost every day, because I'm thinning up here, but I'm starting to grow back here. It's like crazy back here.
I have to shave my head.
Anyways, Rich,
Definitely not shaving my head. I promise you, I'm not shaving my head. Guys,
Rich,
thank you
I'm
so
coming
much
over.
for
I'm coming over to use the Peloton. I'm coming over to use the Peloton.
Yeah, come on over. Come on over.
I'm coming over.
Only after this thing's lifted, though. Okay.
All right, that's cool.
All right, love you guys. Thank you so much for being
I
on.
love you too. We'll still talk to you. All right, man. We'll see you. See you, Chris. Later, guys.